All right. Okay, welcome everyone to Forward's webinar. Today we're going to be talking about the comparison trap, and we are so lucky to have Kathy and Maeve here with us, and they're going to tell us about their LuLaRoe journey and how they've dealt with comparison. So who wants to go first? Kathy, you want to go first? No?
You go, me.
You first.
Okay, sure. So I started in September 2015, and it's been great. I've been selling a lot, and primarily I am a stay-at-home mom to my two little kids. I have a 2-year-old and an almost 1-year-old, so they're like my full-time job, and LuLaRoe is my part-time job, so definitely keeps me busy. And starting to think about this topic a little bit and just thinking about, like, in this day and age with social media, it's so easy to compare yourselves to other people, what other people are doing, how much they're selling and everything. And you see it all over Facebook, Instagram, beautiful houses and food and everything on Pinterest. So researching the topic a little bit, I came across a phrase that I really liked. It was, don't compare your insides to someone else's outsides, because people tend to just post on social media like the best part of them, or like the finished result, the finished product. You don't get to see all the hard work that went into everything. You don't know what's going on behind the scenes, and something might be beautiful, like one part of someone's life, but everything else is totally chaotic. So it doesn't do you any, service to compare yourself in that way. And one thing that Jillian says about it too, that I've heard her say a few times, is if I had their life, then I wouldn't have my life. So if you had someone else's life, you think about the good things in your life that you'd be missing out on, like your husband, your kids, your home, your family, like whatever it may be. You wouldn't have that if you had someone else's life. So just be grateful for what you do have, and realize that there's probably people out there who are envious of you as well. And specifically, sometimes that I have fallen into the comparison trap is I get caught up thinking I need to be like selling, like booking as many parties as I can. Everyone's energy is really infectious in LuLaRoe. People get so excited, like even being on the calls with Deanne, she's like, go, book the parties, like grow your team, do this, do that. And it's exciting, like the enthusiasm is really contagious, but I have found myself sometimes overbooking myself, where I'll book like 5 or 6 parties in a week, and then it becomes apparent really quickly that my life is out of balance, because the reality is that isn't what works for me and for my family. And, my house will get neglected, my kids will be neglected, and all that, when I'm trying to sell as much as I can, thinking that I need to be keeping up with other people. So I try to just take a step back and reprioritize, reassess, and realize that I can only do my best, with everything else that's going on in my life. I just need to do my best and not compare myself to others. So,
That's great.
Thank you. Go.
Perfect. Okay, Kathy.
My name is Kathy Bartlett. I am in Northbridge, Massachusetts, and I started LuLaRoe August of 2015, the end of August, I think. And I joined because I love the clothes, and I was looking for something that I was able to do from home versus having to go out all the time to sell the product. This has worked wonderfully for me, because I do work with my husband during the day, so I can come home in the afternoon and just sit down in my office where I am right now and, focus on posting or taking pictures or shipping out whatever needs to be shipped out. I really don't compare myself to other LuLaRoe. I enjoy seeing everything posted and people commenting. I just find, like Maeve said, that you do the best you can, and it just gets better as it goes. If you push yourself too hard, sometimes that backfires on you. So I just go with the flow and hope for the best, and I don't complain. I just have fun doing it, and it's definitely a fun thing to do, and I'm so happy that I'm moving up a little bit, and sales are better, and getting a consultant under me and all that. So a comparison, you know, it's not something you should do. You should just work for yourself and be happy.
Oh, perfect advice for both of you. I really like what you said, Maeve, about not comparing your inside to someone's outside, because I think that's like the whole point of comparisons, especially with social media. I mean, when I started the same time as a mutual friend, and we had, you know, same friendship circles. And I was like, okay, no big deal. This is awesome. We're out starting together. And I remember I did my first online sale. We actually both did our first online sales on the same night. And I was really excited. I was like, oh man, people actually bought some things. I mean, it was not a big sale by any stretch. It was probably like 10 items, like not big. And I remember Al coming like, oh man, we sold stuff. And I was like, yeah, we sold stuff. And then for some reason, I decided to look over to her page. And it was like, she sold tons of stuff. And I was like, all that excitement I had, like I took it away from myself. I was like, oh my gosh, can I really do this? And I had to think to myself, like, come on, Thea, you know you only know, we know different people. We have different friends. Yeah, we have some mutual friends, but not all. And so that was, I kept telling myself that. But I kept falling back into that trap, like over and over again. I was part of a lot of different groups. You know, different people would join and they would add me to them. And you're like, okay, I'm doing better every day. Every day I'm getting better. My sales are getting better every day. Things are going better. But then I would let other people's successes take away my joy, which is really silly because, you know, I can't compare my story to their story. I don't know who they know. I don't know, you know what I mean? So, so my radical thing was I actually left all those groups because I decided I had to focus on me and just, you know, only worry about Thea, best Thea every day. Because, you know, what they say is that your competition is yourself. You look in the mirror and that's your competition. So every day I try to be the best Thea I can be, which might be better than the day before, you know. And some things that I see from newer people, especially now that LuLaRoe is so Facebook driven and we're very positive and we're always talking about all the great things that happen, that sometimes they feel like, oh, how come my launch party wasn't crazy huge? Or, wow, they were talking about so-and-so hasn't even started yet and her group is like 5 million people. But sometimes you might look back and be like, well, that person was like a crazy successful blogger. Of course they have 5 million people. They've already done that work. You just didn't see it. You didn't see what they did. Might be pre-work before they even started LuLaRoe. So the best thing about this business for me is that it really is your own business. You're not following other people. You do what you can do for you and you make it the best that you can be for you. So and I found, at least for me, that once I didn't look at other people, I became more successful. You know, you guys found me somehow, joined my team, the people started joining. I wasn't being something I wasn't, you know, I try to be my own person in my group. So with my own personality, my own, like, whatever craziness about me. And I feel like the more authentic you are, the better you'll be and the happier you'll be. I mean, if you're not happy, how are you going to keep going to pop-ups if you're not happy? If you're like, oh, I have a crappy inventory, like, it doesn't matter what you like, you know, this is what you have, be proud of it. And that's my little 2 cents on comparison. Do you all have anything else?
Yeah, that's a good point you brought up, because I have seen people take it kind of personally when they get prints that they don't like and they're comparing to other people's inventory and they're like, oh, I'm getting all the bad prints, you know, and they start like feeling bad for themselves. But we've learned, you know, the more you sell, the more you see that like there really is something for everyone. Everything sells. So it's very subjective what prints are good and which ones aren't. So, you know, when you're comparing yourself to someone else's inventory, like that other person who has the inventory that you think is better might be envious of your inventory because it's totally different. So yeah, you can't compare like that. You really need to like think like a retailer, like they say, and just be proud of what you have and go for it.
Right. And I really feel that people, even if you're not like saying, oh, my inventory is crappy, if you're like, here are my shirts, it's so different than here are my shirts, you know, like I feel like your customers can feel when you're kind of like not sure of yourself. So you have to be sure of yourself and not worry about what other people have. I had some other things. I'm trying to think of some other things. Can you all think of anything else that we should bring?
Well, mentioning on that, Thea, you know, I worked for a bank when I was younger. And one of the things we were taught, that when you're speaking on the phone to people, even though they can't see you, they can hear in your voice if something's bothering you or you're not in a good mood or whatever. So they always taught us to, when you speak on the phone, smile. You know, even if you have to have a mirror in front of you or a picture of somebody you really like, smile, because that smile goes through the phone, and they hear that smile, they feel it, and then they'll work with you better or buy what you're selling or whatever you're doing over the phone. And I found it, and I still find it, because I do a lot of phone calls from my husband during the day, and I still find that they do pick up on that when I've got a big smile on my face. Of course, I probably look kooky to everybody walking by me, but, you know, they all react to me fine. I never get anybody being mean or anything like that.
That's great. I didn't realize that was also taught, but that's something I do when I have a customer that might post something on Facebook that I don't think is that great, and I have to respond to something negative. Before I respond, I was like, I have to put a smile on my face, because how can you be mean when you don't have a smile on your face, you know? So I'm always like, I don't have the leggings you're looking for. But you know, like, I find it's much better if I make myself happy before I respond to people. Let's see, another thing, I guess I kind of talked about this, but just for newer people, that the size of your group does not determine your success. So some people may have 5 million people in their Facebook group because they've done tons of giveaways, they're telling people to add all their friends, but it doesn't really matter how many people are in there if they're not LuLaRoe buyers. So sometimes people are there just there because they're hoping that you're going to give away a free legging, and maybe I'll get it because I'm sitting in this group. But you don't have to feel like you need to compare yourself to someone who has some huge group. I mean, I don't have the hugest group around. It started slow. It's grown really slowly, but it's all through word of mouth, through people, you know, people I've met or people who have, you know, my customers who may have said, oh, I had a great experience with Thea, you know, you should check out this group. I think that goes a long way. You don't have to feel like you need to go out above and beyond to make people join your group. They will come if you are happy.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that. It's about like a quality of customer or buyer over quantity. You know, it's not just about adding as many people as you can. Some of my best sales have been, some of my best online sales have been in private groups where I do my private parties where there's like maybe 40 or 50 people, and I'll end up selling like a couple $1,000s worth of items. So you don't need to have 5 million people in your group. Not at all.
Let's see. Any other things? Words of wisdom? This has been really great. Thank you.
One thing I thought of is the comparison with other companies. I get a lot of people that ask me, you know, well, what's it like compared to this company? And you can't do that either because it's totally different. It's a totally different creature. You know, I was talking to somebody recently about becoming a consultant, and they were saying, you know, well, what about this? What about that? And I said, you can't, it's a total different sales pitch. The way we do things, the way we order things is totally different from any other direct sales that I've heard of. And I think it's more fun. You know, it's exciting because you don't know what's coming in your order. You know what you ordered, but you don't know what's coming. So you shouldn't compare to other companies either, other direct sales, I should say.
That is very true. Every time you open a package, you can be excited about it, and you get your customers excited that you have some mix that nobody else has. I mean, someone else might have the same type of patterns, but the mixture that you have is totally different, and I think that is really special about LuLaRoe. I agree. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, I think this is really great. I think we had a lot of good points about not comparing your beginning to someone's middle, and you know, comparing your inside to someone else's outside, and that I think is, you know, definitely a big core of online just like online life in general, everyone's showing their best pictures. I don't show pictures of me looking bad, so I'm sure most people do not show pictures of them looking bad. And when we talk about things in our business, like, oh, I had this awesome sale this weekend, most people don't post about, oh, I had a sale where only one person came. That's not something that anyone posts about. And I know that we are forward because we're forward thinking and we're always looking to, get better and best ourselves. But we've all had things that have happened that weren't the greatest. We didn't have the greatest pop-up, or I don't know, our inventory didn't show up on time. Like, things happen, but people don't normally talk about that. They always talk about the good things. So that's, you can't just compare yourself to what you see on the outside. And then to always smile and be happy and be proud of what you have and proud of your business and proud of what you're doing. It's all really great. So thank you so much, ladies.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to close this webinar. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.